Hailing from the NBA, he is a basketball player.
Yeah, I gathered that when you said NBA, but continue.
Yep.
You fucking idiot. Sorry, that was rude.
That was really rude.
What the
That was
hell,
so,
man?
Oh, sorry.
So aggressive.
Shit, dude.
Listen, we only do this podcast quarterly at this point. You gotta be nice to each other.
Cause we way too high for you. Tripping like we got too much on. Don't they got love before us? Cause we staying all night long. Yo, when we walk in the club, you better believe we know what's up. Got these girls a little trance, throwing bands in the dance.
Good morning, good afternoon, and a good evening. Welcome back to a little bit delayed, but another rendition of the Bros and the Berg podcast. We are now in the year 2024, and we thank you for anybody who's still tuning into this shit show podcast, whether you be listening to us on Spotify, watching us on YouTube, whatever it may be. Again, we appreciate you and your continued support. We hope you had a great and happy holidays. As we know, we've taken a little bit of time off to be with the family and around things and people that matter. But we're back, ready for the new year. Lots of stuff to talk about. We got playoff NFL, talk about and wrap up all the bowl games midway through the NBA season, and a whole lot more. But Connor, what are we starting with today?
Well, first things first. Happy New Year. Hope everyone had a safe and happy holidays. Any resolutions for you gentlemen this year? Is there anything going on that you wanna change in 2024?
I got nothing.
Yep.
I got asked that question earlier this week, and like, what's your New Year's resolution? I was like, I don't have one.
That's fair. I'm not much of a resolution guy myself.
Be better at fantasy football might be up there. That would be a good one.
Am unable.
This
incapable.
is my worst season, I think, in my 10 years of playing fantasy football.
I really didn't do horrible this year, but I could have done a lot better. And also, not getting the number one pick in our dynasty league is really just tearing me up. I dropped all the way to the fourth pick, which is really just I can't even lose properly. Can't even lose.
Wow.
It's
That's
just
a tough scene.
You try to blow it up and start again, and then you can't even do that right. Kind of like the Panthers.
Yeah. Oh.
Fire Dave Tepper. Anyways,
we're going to get started here. We're going to do something a little fun before we get into the news and the actual real sports world. We're going to do a little bit of a draft. We're only going 3 deep here. Each of us is going to get 3 picks. It's going to work on a snake draft basis. We're basically going to label this as the obscure players draft. Essentially, we just had the idea, the concept to take players, kind of obscure players from any sport in the world, mostly kind of in the 2000s. We just want to name people that people go, oh yeah, like I remember that guy. But the people that weren't really that great or whatever. But this will be fun.
Guys that as soon as you hear the name here, I'm like, oh shit, yeah, I know exactly who that is. But you haven't thought about them since probably they were playing.
Yeah.
So I already have.
Let's randomize.
I'm already ready. I'm locked in. We're going to go Connor, Robbie, Ryan. Connor's got the first pick.
Well, back-to-back action for your boy? Okay. Let me cook.
I've got a heater.
Okay.
Are you ready for this?
No.
I'm going to be upset if it's my first pick. I'm going to be really upset.
Hailing from the NBA, he is a basketball player.
Yeah, I gathered that when you said NBA, but continue.
Yep.
You fucking idiot. Sorry, that was rude.
That was really rude.
What the hell, man?
Oh, sorry.
So aggressive.
Shit, dude.
Listen, we only do this podcast quarterly at this point. You got to be nice to each other.
The old fiscal quarter.
We're going to go Corey Maggette as my number 1 overall
that's a good
pick.
one.
Deep in the bag on that one.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, you know who it is, though. As soon as I said it,
sure.
You're like, yeah, Corey Maggette. I remember
I'm familiar with his game.
Not
on God.
Yeah.
For my first pick, I'm also going to the NBA. A guy who
does he play basketball?
He does also play basketball. That is correct. Was really off to a great start to his career. Had some injury problems. Was a really, really good basketball player. I'm gonna go with Brandon Roy.
Yeah, yeah. I was also on my list. That was on my long list.
A fantastic.
He's pretty recent though.
Not that recent.
I guess the casuals have forgotten about him. Not us, because we
would never forget about Brandon Roy. Yeah.
God, you guys really let me cook here at the on the back-to-back.
Okay, on God.
The old snake. We're going to the NFL, then we're going to come back to the NBA. Now, let me know if this guy rings any bells. I'm going to go with a 5'10" demon playing D3 college football, going undrafted, and then coming on to challenge Ray Lewis in the middle linebacker position. I'm going to go London Fletcher.
London, wow, that's an
deep
NFL
cut.
street poll, isn't? Yeah, that's a
deep
crazy
cut
one.
for sure.
Here's an
100%.
absolutely wild fact for you. He played in 3 different decades, from 1998 to 2011. Never missed a game.
That is actually pretty wild.
Never missed a game. Absolutely
That is
wild career. Definitely, I think belongs in the Bills Ring of Honor.
Yeah,
But yeah, so that's my NFL pick. I cooked just slightly.
just
But now we're gonna go to the NBA. Kind of follow what you guys are doing.
Okay.
I think mine's a little bit better.
Okay.
And
We'll see about
he's got a pretty deep bag, as do I. But we're gonna go with Stephon Marbury.
Yeah,
It's hard to forget about him because his jump shot was so broken.
That's a good point.
Like
Broke jump.
he's hard to forget about. Also, I always think of ice cream when I hear Marbury. I don't really know why.
Weird.
But-
All right.
That's
Yeah,
just I don't have a good reason for you. It's just
Is
it's
it
just
as-
what
Yeah.
happens.
is it as broke as Tyrese Halliburton's jump shot?
I mean, we'll get to see it in person next Friday night. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna have to put some stupid bets before I leave the Ohio
Oh, yeah, yes.
area.
Indeed. Yeah.
and
We'll throw together a
checking
parlay
that.
for sure. Yep.
100%.
Our one rule is that we don't bet on the Hawks, and what are we gonna do?
Bet on the Hawks.
Bet on the Pacers.
Fuck. we are not synced up right now. For mine, I'm also going to go football, and I'm also going to go to the linebacker position, and a guy who has one of the greatest like football names of recent memory. I'm going to go to Takeo Spikes.
The Keo.
Mm.
Yep.
Great name, great linebacker. No, I think a guy you don't think about, but you hear his name, you're like, oh hell yeah, Takeo's like he could cook.
Oh hell yeah!
Also familiar with him, I believe, through NFL Street, as you know,
Yes.
as a lot of
I
my
believe
sports
so.
knowledge actually comes from. To be completely honest with you, it's the only reason I know any 2000s players.
Yeah, because you were not, aware of anything until you were
No.
13 years old.
Dude, yeah,
14, but yes.
14.
So I'm gonna go back to back here. I'm gonna do 2 different sports. So all 3 of my athletes are gonna be from different sports. This one he did play in the NFL, but this is more of a college poll than anything. And I feel like if you aren't necessarily a fan of the team that he was on, you may forget about him. But he was a demon. I'm gonna have to go with Justin Blackmon, who played wide receiver for the Oklahoma State Cowboys.
Yeah, he couldn't stay off the weed.
Yeah, this is true.
And it gets,
but
it
he was
gets
a
the best
hooper.
of us at times, you know. It just
100%.
happens.
And another more familiar one. This man hails from the MLB, and I'm aware of him because of a team, specifically, a hometown team that he was on. But I feel like he's the most non-talked about player off of this team. So we're gonna go with second baseman Ian Kinsler from the Texas Rangers.
That's
All right.
a
I
hometown
can get
play. I like
behind
that.
that. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I like that. I'm also going to go hometown here. Go to the good old Carolina Panthers, back to their first Super Bowl run in the early 2000s, and continuing on from there. Always a fan favorite, a fantastic wide receiver. The guy people forget about, because Steve Smith, most people know. A lot of people forget about Muhsin Muhammad. Moose, if you
That
will.
is a poll.
So he was a fan favorite in Carolina. You always hear the Moose chants every time he caught the ball. But a fantastic wide receiver.
It's a good poll. Ryan, what's our last pick gonna be?
Dude, I'm gonna go kind of recent, and I was kind of scrolling through lists of, top tier offensive players production wise, and guys that I thought had like a really short prime, like exploded onto the scene, and then like for whatever reason, fell off, like injury, whatever it may be. This one's kind of recent, so it might be a little controversial because we play fantasy, but I'm gonna go with Jamal Charles.
It's a good one too.
No, that's a good one. Yeah.
I think he had like 2 or 3 where he was top 3 in the league. I don't even know how long ago. I'm afraid to date myself, but like within the last 5 to 10 years, and then completely fell off because of like an ACL tear, and then was absolutely never the same.
Another Chiefs player I thought about recently that I hadn't thought about in a while. You remember Dwayne Bowe?
I was just about to say that Dwayne Bowe. Yeah,
Yeah.
Him and Jamal Charles.
man was quite quick.
Uh,
Honorable
I'll-
mentions for me are Santana Moss.
Yep.
God, I just saw him. I was just on the NBA one that I was thinking about. What was his name? I'm stupid.
It's okay.
Like
Roy
Al
Hibbert.
Hamilton.
Roy Hibbert's a good one. That's a good one.
I got another one here where another honorable mention. But the problem is, you kind of say that he's forgotten about and relevant. He's this team's all-time leading rusher, and if you had told me that, I wouldn't have believed you. Amon Green, I always forget about, but like he's the Packers' all-time leading rusher.
I can't think of besides their current running back, which I'm forgetting his name right. Aaron Jones. Excuse me. I had a stroke. I cannot think of another decent running back except Eddie Lacy because he was Bama.
There was one.
I was about to say Eddie Lacy as well because he got fat. I had Fernando mentioned. I think he's a little too recent, and he has a very iconic play in MLB history. But Jose Bautista had a really short peak. But I think he's pretty memorable because of the bat flip.
To the Rangers fans, he's very memorable.
Correct.
We're the one franchise we will never forget that SOB.
I also saw a lot of Sean Alexander out there.
Yeah, I saw that
who
too.
Had a fantastic 2005 MVP season.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I think winning an MVP makes you a little bit less obscure for the most part. So
what about Jake Delhomme?
Oh,
there's
Trent Dilfer. Sorry, no, he won a Super Bowl.
Yeah. Hey, Jake Delhomme almost won a Super Bowl.
Yeah. Jake Plummer.
Muhsin Muhammad.
Jake Plummer. Jesus.
Wasn't the Broncos quarterback?
You're just looking up random names.
Yeah,
I remember him from something. He might have done something.
All right. So yeah, that was our draft with 3 deep there. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Feel free to throw in the comments any obscure players that you remember, maybe personal picks, maybe people that you really enjoyed watching growing up, but maybe weren't, didn't get the credit they quite deserved. We're going to move on from that.
Can
and
I
we're
throw
going
in one more fun Muhsin Muhammad fact that I forgot about?
Sure.
He actually has the longest touchdown reception in Super Bowl history.
How long?
85
That's
yards.
a real fun fact.
Yep, fun fact. Panthers still lost the game, but Tom Brady was probably cheating. So
probably. Yeah.
Big underinflated balls. Anyways, next topic.
How underinflated are Tom Brady's balls?
Asking for a friend.
We're going to move on here to first off, we're going to review a little bit. We're going to review obviously the 2 games of the college football playoff semifinals, as well as some. Yeah, we don't, but we do. We kind of. Ryan, one of the teams that played is right behind you. And
oh my god, how did that get there? Holy shit!
We're going to review some of the notable games from bowl season, and we can talk about them. OU losing to Arizona 38-24 in the Valero Alamo Bowl.
What a Pokes fan thing to start with.
Bro, Arizona's going to be nice next year.
Probably, yeah.
Yep.
And to Ryan's point, Ryan, you talked about this whenever we were doing our bowl preview. Texas Tech ended up defeating Cal 34-14 in the Radiance Technologies Independence Bowl. In case anyone here is listening, and
nobody wanted to be there, including Cal.
Yeah,
I need to know what the viewership numbers were on that game because I just can't imagine they were good.
I'm gonna look up right now.
A brutal performance from Syracuse, losing 45-0 to South Florida. Did not see that coming.
Quality almost lost for Alabama right there.
Yeah,
USF really showed up in the bowl game. So
I'll mention Oklahoma State real quick, beating Texas A&M 31-23 in the TaxAct Texas Bowl.
Not before breaking their starting quarterback's arm on the first play.
Yeah, that was unfortunate. Obviously, hopefully that guy recovers very quickly. That was really unfortunate. I mean, their 4th-string actually played pretty well. I was actually pretty impressed by him. Yeah, he was good. Louisville going down to USC in the DirecTV Holiday Bowl, 42-28.
Did not see that coming, especially with no Caleb Williams.
The USC backup quarterback cooked.
Yeah, he did.
My guy threw 6
tutties.
6 tutties.
Yeah,
I'm
6.
sorry.
I watched the whole game. I watched the entire game, and my man's was actually cooking for real.
Yeah. He was hooping. We have Boston College defeating number 24 SMU 23-14
Such
in
a
the Fenway Bowl.
shitty game. I mean, I could not imagine it was like raining and
There's nobody there
in Fenway watching a football game. The sightlines had to be awful. It looked like humid, and it was fucking December terrible in Boston.
That sounds miserable.
Yeah, it looked awful.
The aforementioned Pop-Tart Bowl, Kansas State winning 28-19 over North Carolina State.
And the more important news is that there was a mascot sacrifice after the game. In case you didn't see, the Pop-Tart Bowl mascot hopped into a toaster and came out the other side as an edible Pop-Tart. I choose to believe that the man inside that suit is dead and is now just inside of that Pop-Tart.
He's just a mascot.
The Pop-Tart Bowl was crazy. Probably great marketing on their part, but like, is Pop-Tarts. What do you expect?
Clemson defeating Kentucky 38-35 in the Gator Bowl.
Really good game. I think there was like 35 points scored in the fourth quarter or something like that.
Yeah.
It was insane.
Kentucky just decided to implode towards the back half of the season, kind of like they normally do, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Notre Dame defeating Oregon State 40-8 in the Sun Bowl.
40-8's tough. That's a tough score.
We got to mention DJU going to Florida State next year, returning to the ACC. I imagine he'll be the starter there. I'd be surprised if he wasn't.
Yep.
That shows you how bad Florida State's going to be next year.
In a game that I don't think anyone expected this to be the final score of, just because two relatively high-powered offenses. Missouri defeating Ohio State 14-3 in the Cotton Bowl.
I also watched this entire game. One of the most boring football games I've
Literally
watched in a very long time.
I watched this. I did too.
My mom is a Mizzou alum, and two of her friends were in town. We watched the whole game.
Yeah, it was really.
I mean, in the second half, you just have to make it into a drinking game at that point.
It was really. I mean, it was 3-0 until the end of the third quarter. It was awful.
Yeah.
God almighty.
I do think Missouri, and along with Arizona, are going to be two kind of trendy, like maybe not national championship picks next year, but like in terms of like making it decently far in the 12-team playoff and making the 12-team playoff. I think those will be two trendy teams going into next year.
100%. Ole Miss defeating Penn State 38-25 in the Peach Bowl.
Penn State's offense is so bad.
Yeah.
It's just abysmal.
Yeah. Been like that all year.
Unfortunately, not a lot of us, I don't think we're shocked, but it still kind of sucked to see, nonetheless, Georgia defeating Florida State 63-3 in the Orange Bowl.
Yeah.
I get
That's what
the
happens
players,
when you have walk-ons playing.
And I get the players opted out because they thought they should have been in the college football playoff. Like, now you have no leg to stand on of, we should have been in. It's like, you couldn't even show up for this bowl game. That's like one of the 6 biggest bowl games of the year. Like
it was kind of shitty. Like as like fans of the sport, like,
and like just shitty to your teammates too. Like, you're gonna just leave your walk-ons out there to go up against maybe the most talented team in the country. I mean, probably one of the top 4 most talented teams.
Arguably top 4 team.
Yeah. It's just not. You're not a good teammate if you're just leaving your guys out there to do that.
Yep.
Let's see. LSU narrowly defeating Wisconsin 35-31 in the ReliaQuest Bowl.
No Jane Daniels.
Not a great game. I mean, it was like higher scoring, but it was just kind of like bleh.
Yeah.
I don't
know. Oregon killing Liberty 45-6 in the Fiesta Bowl.
At one point, it was 60 or 6-3.
I think it was 6-0. I think Oregon scored 45 unanswered.
I was hungover. I went to sleep, took a nap. I woke up, and Oregon had found a grip.
Yeah,
very quick.
Oh yeah. Iowa continuing to prove their mark as the worst 10-win team in college football history.
How? I don't get it.
Tennessee beating Iowa 35-0 in the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl.
How many points per game did they score this year?
Dude, remember the OC? Like,
yeah, he already got fired. He got fired like midway through the season.
Dude, who in their right mind would have even set that precedent? Like, that was never happening.
How many points per game you guys think Iowa scored this year? They won 10 games, remember. 10 games.
17.
Ryan?
It's a good guess. It's good. That's a good guess.
Do you want to throw in a guess or no?
17.69.
You're both too high.
Oh, wow.
They averaged 15.4 points per game this year.
Shit.
And won 10 games.
Bro, in their last games, in their bowl game and in the Big Ten Championship, they didn't score a single point.
I still remember someone, we had a friend who bet on the Iowa over. Oh, so their over for the second half of the Big Ten Championship was 2.5. And he's like, there's no way that they don't hit it. Because Michigan.
No, I thought it was like 0.5 or something.
Was it 0.5? Was just for them to score?
Yes.
I was thinking it was 2.5.
I think it was just for them to score.
And don't worry, they didn't hit it. We're like, oh, Michigan's going to be killing them with all the backups in. Surely they'll score.
Yeah.
No.
ESPN's like, get fucked.
They scored 216 points all year. Georgia scored 63 in one game.
Good old God Almighty! That's just wow.
Kind of gross.
inept. Yeah. So yeah, we're going to move on from that to talking about the college football playoff semifinals, possibly the first year in the 10 years of the playoff where both semifinal games were very good and competitive till the end. Unfortunately, gentlemen, the first thing on ESPN is the game that involves your school, Alabama. I'll throw it to you guys. You guys talk about this Michigan-Alabama game.
It was a game that
you go first.
I'm not sure either team really deserved to win. I think Michigan did play better than Alabama, but had a couple really bad special teams mistakes that kept Alabama in the game. Alabama defense played phenomenally. Special teams played well. Offense just couldn't really get anything going. I don't know if it's the fact that the Alabama offense just wasn't that good this year. I think that was part of it, but Michigan's defense is also incredible.
Yes.
I mean, their entire defense, I think at one point they had 6 sacks, each by a different player, which is just unheard of.
Your O-line was getting owned by the Michigan.
Correct.
I've never seen an Alabama O-line get that dominated.
I want to give a little bit of props to the right side of the line because they did play better. The left side of the line was Swiss cheese. I mean, like from the center over, like they might as well have just stood there and like let them walk through. Like it would have been just as fast. So in the bad snaps, I think almost half the snaps were off target.
Yep. They were.
It was tough to watch us on offense.
Yep. Ryan, any thoughts?
Yeah, we were. Michigan was a foot and a half away from the most embarrassing way to lose a game in the past 50 years, potentially. I mean, for as high a stakes as it was. If I'm Michigan, I just don't field a punt in the national championship. I just I just don't put a guy back there.
And they put back a different guy who hadn't fielded a punt all game.
Yeah, that was a weird choice.
Yeah,
by Michigan. Yeah,
our kicker is great. Our punter is great. We're graduating our kicker, who's got the most points in FBS history. He's probably the biggest person we're losing on the team.
Defensively too, losing like Dallas Turner, Kool-Aid, Terrion Arnold.
Losing a couple really important DBs. Milroe took a lot of steps forward this year. I think he will just continue to improve. But yeah, like Rob said, offensive line woes. I think we're the name of the game, and also Michigan's defense stepped up to the challenge.
I think a whole offseason with Jalen Milroe not looking over his shoulder too, knowing he's the guy, I think will be big for his development as well. Because once he got the job, he really didn't look back. He played a lot better, looked a lot more comfortable. So hopefully he'll continue that over the offseason.
What was y'all's feeling when overtime was announced? Did you feel good, or did you feel like, oh, we're going to lose overtime?
I felt like we had a chance until Michigan scored in 2 plays. Yeah. And then I was like, oh, we're in fucking trouble.
It sucked the energy out of the stadium. I mean, that was a legacy cementing run by Corum, who's already touted as at least top 3 back in the country. A lot of people would call him number 1.
Yeah. And
to run over who was supposed to be a quite stout defense, breaking like fucking 5 tackles along the way. Yeah, it was like, shit.
And like I was feeling pretty confident in the second half. We were playing really well third quarter. Defense played awesome. Offense was starting to get a rhythm, and we got the ball back up. And when Milroe fumbled, I know they didn't score off of it, but that's when the momentum just left. No, they fumbled, they missed the field goal, and then from then on, we just couldn't stop them to save our lives. And that was really the moment where I was like, okay, we're in deep shit now.
Yep. We have 2 more things to mention real quick. One, no really other way to say it, but other than a terrible performance from the Alabama center. Just the entire game was just to the ground. Like the snaps were just low. Milroe kept having to bend down.
And that wasn't uncommon for this year.
That wasn't a one-game issue.
But it was bad. It was so bad.
He picked the worst time to have his worst game of the year.
Yeah.
But like the 4th and 31 doesn't happen if it's not a bad snap.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
We ended up in that position because he snapped the ball over Milroe's head, or snapped it to the right of him, I guess.
Yeah.
But he snapped it. And there was I don't know if you saw the interview with Saban and Pat McAfee, but allegedly what happened is the Auburn safety was hitting his pads to get the attention of the middle linebacker.
Yeah.
And he snapped it because he thought that was Milroe going on clap, and Milroe wasn't ready for it. Also, was a shit snap. Milroe wasn't catching that anyways.
No.
But that's apparently what happened. So yeah, it was kind of, and Saban said that today, like on some interview with Pat McAfee. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, he brought that up in a press conference at some point too. They thought Auburn should have been penalized for bringing the snap on essentially because you're not allowed to do that. It's a delay game, but.
And then the second question I have: what was the plan on the final play call? What was the plan there?
That wasn't the play call.
I don't think it was
supposed to go up the middle.
I think he was. I think because the snap was bad, he missed his opportunity to get up the middle. Because like people are like maybe they were running a jump pass something, but like no one ran around.
No, yeah, there was nobody that ran. Why would he?
I think it was. I mean, the running back ran a route like it was like he had a read, like Jalen had a read out to the flat for the running back. But also when he goes down to grab the snap, he takes his eyes off the defense. You have the right guard pulling, who gets his ass whooped, by the way. I think he got pancaked. So at that point, it's like he missed the potential hole or even the potential for a cutback because on the left side, it was left side, right? One of the sides was wide open. If he had made a cut, he would have been able to cut back and get in.
Yeah. I mean, I just think like we didn't drop back to pass at all in the second half because we couldn't block them.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, we tried to run some RPO stuff, wasn't working. Michigan was way too disciplined for that. I think. I mean, everyone.
That's a huge thing, right? One of Milroe's best attributes as a passer is his deep ball. So when you can't get enough time to make the defense play honestly, because he can beat you with the deep ball, they're just gonna sick him.
They can just sit up there and press you the whole time because all they need is 3 seconds to get the quarterback.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it took away 30% of the playbook, and then Tommy Rees had really a midster class of a play calling game. I thought.
I just don't think Tommy Rees's bag is that deep. If we're being honest, like it's just simply not that deep. So he ran out of stuff.
Yep.
So yeah, we're going to move on to the other. So yeah, condolences for first time in the Nick Saban era that it's like he hasn't had a championship in 3 years or something like that. They said at the end of the game.
The poor senior class next year, if they don't win a national championship, they'll be the first like class in Alabama since Nick Saban's been there to not win a national championship. Those poor kids.
Oh yeah,
just put upon.
So moving on to the other semifinal game that was very close and then wasn't for a little bit and then got really spooky at the end. Washington came out on top. Oh, by the way, the final score of the last game, Michigan-Alabama, was 27-20. The final score of Washington versus Texas was 37-31. Michael Penix, give it to me.
He should have won the Heisman.
That's what I'm saying.
He should have won the Heisman.
Who in their right mind thinks Jaden Daniels is better than Michael Penix? Dude, did you not
let him know?
The game.
This man has been saying.
I'm right there with them. I picked Washington to make the college football playoff at the beginning of the year. I'm all in. We're a Huskies podcast right now.
I just like the first 3 throws he made were, by the way, it was like 3 throws for 100 yards.
Yeah,
like the first 3, and they were perfect. They were like 2 over the shoulder balls. One was like he was like running to his right and he flicked it out with his left. And you're like, what the hell? I just don't understand how he did not win the Heisman.
I'll tell you why, Connor. I have a theory. I have a theory.
That one
as
game
to why.
killed him, but
not that. But people it doesn't look right to me either. When lefties throw the ball when they're playing quarterback, something about it just like doesn't look right because you're so used to a right-handed quarterback. Same thing with Tua. Dude. When Tua throws it, I know I'm picking on you right now too, but because Tua's the same way. Like when Tua throws, like that doesn't look quite right, even though they have great throwing motions. So I'm convinced Michael Penix didn't win the Heisman solely because he's a lefty.
I believe him.
I mean, Penix season, baby. He was dropping balls into windows that had absolutely no business being thrown into, but. There's got to be credit given what credit's due. The Washington receiving core
it's really good.
It's really good. And the offensive line against a Texas front seven that is very talented.
Very true.
Penix just didn't get sacked. And that is hard to believe in a semifinal game against that talented of a defense. I mean, he just had it all day sometimes.
Well, I was watching it with my buddies, and I was like, because it was funnily, obviously, most of them are UT fans. Most of them go to UT. So obviously they're rooting for UT. And I didn't think Washington was going to try to establish the run game at all. Because first of all, Texas' secondary is bad. Texas secondary is not good. Then their D-line is stellar. But I'll give props to Washington and their OC. Like their first 2 or 3 plays were all run plays because they just wanted to make sure that they wanted to keep them honest, make sure Penix could have enough time to throw the ball. And I think it worked to perfection. And props to the obviously Washington O-line too.
So I feel like that
that helped them adjust. And then obviously Penix just cut up Texas's secondary because their secondary is kind of bad. But
dude,
ahead,
the
Robbie,
national championship, the front, the lines, the Washington offensive line versus the Michigan defensive line is going to be one of the best matchups like we've seen in years. I'm really excited for that.
Yep. Do you guys? So there have only been 3 left-handed quarterbacks to ever win the Heisman Trophy.
Oh wow.
One of them you won't know because he's in 1962. That was Terry Baker for Oregon State. Didn't know Oregon State had a Heisman.
Don't disrespect my game.
I'm not familiar with his game. If you are, I'm impressed. There were 2 in the 2000s. You know who they are?
No, he wasn't.
From 2000 2010.
Isn't Tebow a lefty?
Tim Tebow.
Yeah.
One before him.
He just didn't
Not
throw
one
the ball
before
that
him,
often.
but there's one other quarterback between 2000 and 2007 won the Heisman Trophy. Had a very bad NFL career. Just like Tim Tebow.
One's Steve Young.
Not Steve Young.
Not Steve
He
Young.
was right, wasn't he? Steve
Not
Young.
Vince Young never won a Heisman. He did play against Vince Young in the national championship game.
Is it Leinart?
Matt Leinart.
Leinert's a lefty? Wow, that shows you how he just didn't do shit after.
He was so bad in the NFL. Yeah, it was really tough. But so there only been 3 left-handed quarterbacks ever won the Heisman because Tua never won one either. I always kind of forget Tua didn't win a Heisman. He should have if he didn't get hurt, but
he would have if he didn't get hurt.
So yeah, all the props in the world to Washington. Obviously, we got to give props to Texas too. Only losing by 1 score, and hell, on the last play they could have won the game if they hit the extra point.
That swat was nasty though. My dude threw that.
My question is what he didn't look like he was running a route. Like the receiver just looked like he was going to the corner of the end zone and just sitting there until Quinn threw him the ball.
Yeah,
that's stupid.
Like it almost looked like he was. It almost looked like he was running out and he's going to run just like a stop route right at the goal line. Like that was the route he ran, which makes no sense.
Really weird. Yeah, I don't understand that. Obviously, Quinn was just told throw the ball to him right there. Like, and it was like, what else did he? Like, he put it in a pretty good position.
Put it in a good spot. It was a great defensive play.
Yeah.
All right. So Monday, January 8th is the national championship.
Yes, sir.
Big Ten, Pac-12. Pac-12, not dead yet, baby. It's not fucking dead yet. It's got some business to take care of.
The Big Ten on the way out. Both Big Ten teams. So.
No, true.
I would also like to point out tickets for the game have dropped from $1,900 to under $800.
Oh, so we're going.
Yeah, I was about to say, what are flights to Houston right now?
So we're going.
Michigan is favored by 4.5 points.
Bro, the Huskies live off that.
The over-under is 56.5. The Huskies have been disrespected every single ranked game this year.
Every time.
Is it Penix season?
It's Penix season.
Then Penix season.
Oh God!
The Pac-12 wins on the way out. I said this like
the storyline's too good.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's literally been storybook. This is a documentary in the making. Like they're waiting for them to win.
And Michigan fans aren't done coping. Yeah, no. They don't deserve one yet.
They have to keep getting closer and closer with Harbaugh, just a little bit. So I think they're actually to get blown out in this one, and then next year they'll get a little bit closer, but still kind of get blown out, and then the next year they'll actually win. It would be just like the semifinals.
Yep.
There's just no way Michigan's making it to 3 national championships in a row. I think their fans would actually kill themselves.
That's like when the Bills made.
I was about to say they beat the Buffalo Bills of college football. Yeah.
So yeah, I think Washington's gonna win. Are we all in agreement? Huskies
I'm
fans?
with you.
Fuck it.
Go Dogs, baby.
We got to.
Not those dogs though. We don't fuck with Georgia like that. But
no, absolutely not.
We got to move on here. We are already kind of running. We're gonna one quick headline. Speaking of transfers, we're not going to go through all the transfers, but this transfer happened today, and it's relatively bigger news. Former Kansas State quarterback Will Howard has found his new home as he'll play his 5th collegiate season with the Ohio State Buckeyes. That's a pretty good pickup for Ohio State. I think that's a good move.
I feel like Ohio State's going to be mid as fuck next year.
Who's going to be? But I don't think he's that great.
They're losing Marvin Harrison Jr. They're losing Ibuka. They're losing Travion Henderson probably.
Yeah.
Like I know they got 5 stars everywhere. Like Alabama. I just think they're gonna be kind of mid next year. And I think next year might be the year that Ryan Day is actually on the hot seat.
Mm-hmm.
I would throw that out there now.
How can you be on the hot seat at 11-1 every year?
Because you
literally who's an upgrade? Kirby and Saban. Like that. That's it.
But like think about it this way: if Alabama had a coach and we're going 11-1 every year, but we're losing to Auburn that one game, every year, people would be calling for their
It's not
heads.
the same because
You have
Auburn's
to beat
dog
their
shit.
rival. But I mean, that's fair. But still, like people would be calling for their heads if that was happening to us. So I get it. I mean, you're right. There's not an upgrade, but what if they go like 9-3 or 10-2 next year?
Yeah, it's a little different.
Yeah,
I'm outraged by like making it to like the big championship like every other year, like going to New Year's Six bowls every single year. It's like
But Ohio
Dude,
State
like-
went to win national championships.
I'm very well aware of that.
And the year that they made it, I mean, they made it the COVID year, but they also like barely really played anyone that year, and it was the COVID year, and they also got shit on in the national championship game.
They got rolled.
So I mean, they really have. I mean, they made a couple of college football playoffs, lost in the semifinals twice, lost in the championship game, but Ohio State expects to win championships, and Ryan Day hasn't been getting them there. So
that's true. So yeah, we're going to move past college football. We're going to get into a little bit of the NFL MVP odds. I feel like this has been one of the weakest races in the past,
for sure,
since my lifetime. Currently leading the pack
Since my lifetime.
Currently leading the pack is Lamar Jackson. He's been leading there for a while. It seems like it's going to fall to him, I guess.
Fall to him's kind of disrespectful, but
he's been very good.
Season for an MVP though.
Yeah, it really is. Number 2 is Dak Prescott of the Dallas Cowboys.
I'm sorry. That's just simply disrespectful to Christian McCaffrey. Who's been the best player in football this year?
100%. Yep.
Currently, it looks like they're about tied for third place is Brock Purdy and Josh Allen in terms of better.
No way Josh Allen's above CMC.
Yeah.
Josh Allen has sucked ass.
Bro, just name it the MVQB at this point. It's just a quarterback away.
No, zero shit. That's actually, that's wild.
And then at number 5 is Christian McCaffrey.
What are CMC's odds?
Currently, it looks like plus 5,000 is the most common one.
He's not going to play this week, so I mean,
he's definitely not playing.
We're gonna play a quick game real quick. We're gonna play an expedited game. We're just gonna do you two, just because we're running a little long and we've got we got a pretty long tier list that we're gonna do at the end. We played this game before. All we're guessing the same player. So I'm gonna count you down 3, 2, 1. You're gonna say a player, and then from that point on, you're gonna see how long it takes you to get to the same player. That's all it is. It's pretty simple. We're just gonna have you two do it real quick. Are you gentlemen ready? Do you have somebody in mind?
Does that be in the pros right now?
Yeah, let's do professional players. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Are you ready?
No.
Give me a second.
I'm ready.
3, 2, 1.
Tyrese Halliburton.
McCaffrey.
Okay.
Okay.
For listeners, that was Tyrese Halliburton and Christian McCaffrey.
We've been talking about his jump shot a lot lately, so I was just hoping we kind of
was peeved about CMC. That's why
Those are real different players, gentlemen. That's
All right, how we gonna do this?
What's the thoughts?
I don't know.
Robbie's lost.
Similarities, any. Okay.
Look at him.
I mean, I'm going to throw one out there. We're not going to be that close, but
sick. All right.
3, 2, 1.
Steph
Patrick
Curry.
Mahomes. Okay.
Wow.
Oh, wait.
State
Farm?
Hold on.
Wait a goddamn minute.
Hold on.
We're
Steph Curry and Patrick Mahomes.
State Farm. They played in the match together as well.
Okay, wait, that was kind of cheating.
Was it?
Yeah. Well, on the third one, if we were on the 10th one, I would have given that to you. But all right, 3, 2, 1.
Josh Allen.
We went the other way.
You said the match. You fucking.
I thought it was Mahomes. I thought Mahomes and Kelsey and Clay and Steph.
Yeah, that's what the State Farm. Then you said the match, and that's what I kind of.
I thought Mahomes and Kelsey played against Clay and Steph.
Weren't there 2 though? Wasn't there one? There was another one. There were 2.
Yeah, there was another one. I was thinking about the Josh Allen one.
I was thinking of the Travis Kelsey one with Steph and Clay.
I thought about Kelsey.
But you're in the same sport.
Second choice.
You're in the same sport now.
We are in the same sport. Okay.
Who'd you say? I forgot.
I said Travis Kelsey. You said Josh Allen.
Okay.
All right.
3.
No, I'm just simply not ready.
Oh, my bad. Sorry.
I'm ready.
Hey, Robbie was eager, so it got me. Got me excited. Robbie's feeling it. Look at him.
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
Dalton Kincaid. All right.
I was really worried one of us was going to say Dawson Knox, and then
I was thinking Dawson Knox.
That's what a guy to end on.
Yeah, Dalton.
That's a hell of a player just to throw out there. That's because we're not casuals. We're on a sports podcast. We know who the rookie tight end is for the Buffalo Bills.
Compared to Tommy Reese, our bag is much more like Hermione Granger. You know what I'm saying? It's real.
What a reference!
Culture reference. Shit.
Damn.
Who let him cook?
I'm here. I'm him.
Jesus.
All right. We're going to move into the NBA. A quick headline before we get into talking about the NBA standings. Golden State forward Draymond Green, on an indefinite league suspension since December 13th, is expected to return to the Warriors facility in the coming days to start ramping up to resume play.
Bro, we've recorded a podcast more recently than Draymond has played a basketball game. That's fucking nuts.
Yeah. Didn't they send him to like anger management or something?
Yeah, they sent him to counseling or something.
The old gulag. Yeah.
It's like
stuff.
Holy crap. He's just I just don't even understand.
They just need to get him on some of that weed that Steve Kerr's smoking, man. That's all they need. It's like then he'd just be chill as fuck. It'd be fine.
100%. Yeah. So to go through some of the standings real quick, on top of the East, the Celtics have remained at 26-7. We have the Bucks at 24-10. The Sixers at 23-10. This is kind of shaping up, I would say, kind of how we expected. The Detroit Pistons finally broke their losing game streak. They are now 3-31 at the bottom of the Eastern Conference. That's a tough scene, man. If you're a Detroit Pistons fan,
Cade Cunningham.
It's not great. It's not a great situation.
Imagine being the Raptors that lost to them, though.
That's tough.
It's embarrassing. The only kind of surprise I'd say from here is probably the Magic at 19-15 are having a pleasantly good season thus far.
Pacers above them is also kind of surprising.
I mean, Halliburton was good last season too.
And the Hawks being in the playoffs. I mean, that's just shocking.
Hell yeah, baby, go Hawks!
Yeah, the Hawks are a weird team. Hawks might be the weirdest team in the NBA. It's kind of interesting. On the Western Conference side, the Minnesota Timberwolves have remained atop of the rankings at 24-9. The Thunder are number 2 at 23-10, with Chet Holmgren playing exceptionally well so far as a rookie. Has some really good numbers. The Nuggets at 3, the Clippers at 4. Unfortunately, the Mavs have fallen all the way to 7 after kind of this last month not being as strong.
Kyrie being hurt, they just haven't looked good.
At least they're not the Lakers.
Yeah, the Lakers at 17-18 at the 10 seed currently, and the Warriors right below them at 16-17. Rockets in the playoff hunt, which is something I thought I'd never say, at 17-15 at the 8 seed, right below the Mavs. So yeah, this kind of mid-season area. Obviously the standings will continue to shake out. Nothing is set in stone at this point. Obviously,
we'll see how early the Pistons get mathematically eliminated.
It's gonna be way too early,
and only because there's 10 teams that make it in the playoffs now. Will they not set a record?
Before or after the All-Star break?
After.
Just after, within 2 weeks of the All-Star break.
You're gonna see an absolutely fire tweet from like the Pistons social media team. It's like playing for our playoff lives. It's like game 48 or some shit.
Yeah. Bro, have you all seen the Minnesota Timberwolves like Brazil Twitter account?
Yeah, I don't love it.
I don't know how to explain it. Dude,
things to leave in 2023.
Correct. If you want to go look that up, do that on your own time. I'd recommend doing it on a private browser.
Not on a work computer.
Not on a work computer. It's officially sponsored by the Timberwolves.
The Timberwolves Brazil account?
Yes.
I think the T-Wolves have like retweeted it too, which was wild.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. All right. I guess fair enough. So yeah, in terms of the NBA, unless you guys had anything, that was it for the time being. Just update on the standings. And then we have one headline here, and then we're going to get into our tier list. I think our tier list is kind of fun here and a little bit longer, so I think you guys will enjoy that. The NCAA and ESPN announced Thursday that 40 NCAA championships, including women's basketball, volleyball, baseball, and softball, will be on ESPN networks for the next 8 years. The agreement includes rights to 21 women's championships and 19 men's. Division I women's basketball, women's volleyball, women's gymnastics, and the football championship subdivision title game will all be on network television, ABC. More than 800 hours of NCAA championships will appear on ESPN and linear network throughout the year, with more than 2,300 combined on linear and digital platforms. Essentially just an update regarding ESPN and the NCAA's deal.
Because ESPN just keeps getting worse. Because they don't have to try. They just get everything. And so they just don't care.
The mouse just keeps getting richer.
Guarantee you the women's college basketball final, they're going to find a way to talk about LeBron for at least 5 minutes. I guarantee.
Can that be a prop bet?
It should be. It actually should be.
It's going to be drawing comparisons like Caitlin Clark.
Yep.
100%. Yeah. Even though LeBron
Never
didn't play in college. That's definitely going to happen now.
I'm just saying, if LeBron played college basketball, he would have been an Iowa Hawkeye, okay?
Yeah, exactly.
Gritty, gym rat, scrappy, if you will.
Yeah. So yeah, that's it in terms of the headlines and stuff. We're going to get into our tier list in honor of it being 2024. Gentlemen, the Olympic Games are this year.
Paris
in
Olympics.
Paris, France. The Olympic Games are this year. It's the Summer Olympics after the last Olympics in 2020, or actually in 2021, obviously because of the pandemic in Tokyo. There were some issues there. So this will be our first relatively quote-unquote normal Summer Olympics back from that. So I'm very interested to see. I think Paris is a cool location to do that. So we have a tier list of just the Olympic sport, of the Olympic like overall events. And so we're going to rank them from, let's see, is it S tier? I believe it's the F tier. Okay, we have an S tier, an A tier, a B tier, a C tier, and a D tier. Gentlemen, do you want to know what the first events we're going to be ranking? Number 1, we have archery.
Pretty electric, honestly.
Yeah, I feel like kind of underrated. I don't know if you guys have been keeping up with the World Dart Championships here recently, but those have been crazy. And archery reminds me a lot of that. It's kind of electric. I wouldn't say it's
totally out of left field just because Robbie said World Dart Championship. Connor, the cousins want us to come up to New York City for your birthday weekend and go to World Dart Championship tournament in Madison Square Garden.
Yo, they got room for one more.
Can't afford, but kind of interested.
Yeah, I was like, wait, someone cooked here.
No, wait,
this might be kind of funny.
This is a good idea. I wouldn't put it in the top 2 tiers of Olympic sports. I'd put it in B though. I feel pretty solid about that in B.
That's great. That's great. That's great.
Artistic swimming.
Yeah, we're just gonna go put that in E. Not about it for me. Okay, right? So, different
SAB,
strokes for different.
I could never do it, but like I'm just not gonna watch it. So
SABCD, by the way, those are the tiers.
Oh, D. We'll
SABCD.
We'll go D. Shout out to synchronized swimmers, though. You know they're doing better than we could.
Keep doing you.
Athletics, or better known as track and field.
S tier.
Yeah, I mean that's what people tune into the Olympics for, right?
It has to be.
We're running, we're jumping, we're throwing, we're doing all types of shit.
Yeah, and obviously there's no Usain Bolt that I think really draws people like they did in like 2008, but there's still some fantastic sprinters out there. So
yeah, badminton. Don't cook. What? Really?
Have you ever seen some of the Chinese clips of badminton? Oh my god, it goes nuts.
I don't know how they react that fast.
I don't know. The rallies go on for so long. I don't get it.
I put it with like, I think it's similar to archery. It's kind of electric when it shouldn't be. But like it's not going to be like the top tiers, but like it's pretty good.
Fair enough.
Great take.
We'll put it in B tier. We have, what's the next one? Baseball.
Here's my thing about baseball. Are MLB players playing?
Or still just collegiate?
Yeah, that's a good question. Actually, I don't know.
Because like the World Baseball Classic it was better this past year because like Trout was actually in and they had Ohtani. But like in the years prior, like there hadn't been like MLB players really playing in it, so it'd been kind of like not as entertaining. Which, like, obviously, there's other great professional baseball leagues, but it's not quite the same.
No, they're not allowed to play. Apparently, they're looking for 2028, but they're not going to be allowed to play in this next one.
I'm going to put that in C tier.
Agreed. Yeah, it was exactly what I thought.
We have 3v3 basketball.
You guys know who's trying to make the U.S. team for 3v3 basketball? Very famous college basketball player.
Jimmer Fredette. Just throwing it
Jimmer Fredette.
Is it actually?
Wild. Yep. That's insane.
I saw a clip the other day. He's trying to qualify.
Yeah, I'd absolutely tune in to watch Jimmer
I think
play.
He's pretty close. I think he was like in like the final qualification stage or something like that.
That is, wow. Fair enough.
I haven't watched a whole lot of 3v3.
I haven't either.
But I'm going to put it in B tier.
I put it in C, to be honest. It's just kind of fine. It's just half court. It can get a little boring.
Jimmer's team won the title game of the FIBA 3x3 AmeriCup.
There you go. How about general basketball? 5v5 straight up basketball.
At least A tier.
Yeah,
has to be at least A tier.
It would be better if it was a little more competitive.
Yeah, yes. I agree with that. I would agree with that.
I would
I
have,
think-
but it's not like 92 Dream Team. We're not. The U.S. isn't waxing teams.
Very
Sure. Some of the smaller countries, yes, but like you get like Spain, like some of the Euro leagues, like shit. Luka can lead the Slovenian team to like a third place medal. Like some of these guys can take over games. So
Yep.
it's better than it used to be.
This is true. There's not an image here, but I'm just gonna. It is on the actual website. We're gonna go beach volleyball. Oh, here it is. I found it. It's fine. It's like a high C. Like
Where's the? There's no image.
no, there is. It's the blue one in the middle
yeah.
of the second to bottom. It's the one where they're diving. For the
Oh
ball.
yes.
Oh, yep, I got it.
It's like high C.
Yeah, I'd probably put it with
Sure.
baseball. Yeah.
All right, we'll go there. We'll go high C. Boxing.
I don't know that I've ever watched Olympic boxing.
I don't think I have either.
It-
Funny enough.
Like not that
Does
I
that
watch a lot of
reflect on it? Is
not
it,
that I watch a lot of boxing in general, so that's probably a good
True.
point, Connor. But
it's like another C, kind of just there where it's.
Yeah, it's
you
not
know.
bad, but I'm just not going to really like get excited
Yeah.
to tune in to watch any of it. You know.
I'm
Yeah.
with it. I'm with it. We have canoe slalom. Robbie,
Man,
you nodded your head
I'm
there.
I'm just not excited.
so
about
the only
it
thing
at
I
all.
know about canoe slalom is they do qualifying in Charlotte because the U.S. National White Water Center is in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I've seen the course that they go down,
Yeah,
and it looks wild. And like I'm like,
Uh-huh.
how do you survive that without hitting your head on a rock?
yeah.
But that's the extent of my knowledge.
Another C. We got just the ones we don't really know. It's kind of throw
Putting
in
that-
C.
I'm putting it in D. Fuck it.
We gotta
Alright.
get something in D. Yeah, I
Canoe sprint.
feel like
Now,
that's
that's
probably worse
going
than the.
C.
I feel like that's worse than the slalom. To me, that's like ski slalom versus like cross country skiing. I know it's a sprint, but like they're just going.
Flat water racing. It's 200, 500, and 1,000 meter races.
Why are there 5 different cycling events? Sorry, so I was just looking at. We'll put it in. We'll put it in C here. To start off the cycling,
That's a
the
real
cycling
short wiki article about it.
cycling BMX freestyle.
Bro, BMX is sick.
That's kind of crazy. Yeah.
That goes pretty high.
I'm
That's
a
right.
big fan of the X Games. It's obviously a big part of the summer X Games. One of the main events is
Yeah,
the
yeah.
BMX. So
I'd
I would
put it
say
in
A. I'd put it in A.
Yeah. Okay. We'll throw it in A. We have cycling BMX racing.
Racing's
Like
a little
race.
less lit, in
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
personal opinion.
Like a
Agreed.
B?
But still B. I think that's still entertaining.
Cycling mountain bike.
I'm tempted to put it in B because some of the shit those dudes are doing is just
Yeah.
absolutely bananas.
Yeah.
The ones where
you're-
like they
and
go
they're-
through like the towns in Europe and like go down the stairs. And like I know that's not what they do in the Olympics, but that's just what it makes me think.
They're
of.
like a half inch away from death, like most
Yeah.
of the time.
Yep.
Kind of
Cyc-
electric.
cycling road.
Eh,
Or that's just like the Tour de France, right? I'm assuming.
Yeah.
yeah,
D.
eh.
Like it's
Yeah.
boring. Like it's
Yeah.
D.
and then the last one cycling is cycling track.
I mean, just as
In a
bad as the
circle?
road.
That's even
that's-
worse, maybe,
that's-
I think.
that also goes in D.
All right, retroactively, we'll put them both in D. All right, I have a hot take for this next one. I think diving is S tier. I think diving is an S tier Olympic sport.
S tier is
I-
tough. S tier
Dude,
is
I think
tough.
diving
I-
is so good.
I'm honestly a little bit of an Olympic purist. I don't know if there should be a lot of other things that go up in S tier besides track and field. I think it's an A tier though. I can definitely
agree
give
to
A
that.
tier.
Yeah.
Damn, it's tough.
Cope.
I mean, Mike. Equestrian dressage. I don't know what
Yeah,
it is.
we know what tier that's going in.
So funny enough, my parents went to the Atlanta Olympics in '96, and
Yeah.
that was their favorite event that they went to.
Was it really?
Was the
What is
equestrian.
that? Oh, dress. I mean, it's a different type. I have no
I
idea
think
what
it was the dressage. That could be completely wrong, but their favorite thing was actually the
Dressage.
equestrian.
Out of respect, do we not put that in D tier for
It's a
Robbie's
form of
parents?
horse riding performed in an exhibition and competition as well as an art, sometimes pursued solely for the sake of mastery. I don't know. It's a general equestrian.
That gave me nothing.
Yeah, that did not let me cook. The next one we have is equestrian eventing. So I think it's more like tracks and stuff, like where the horses have to actually.
Unless it's the Kentucky Derby, like I'm just simply not gonna be that interested in what the horses are doing. I'm just gonna
Yeah.
be completely honest.
No, I agree. So I guess and then the last one is equestrian jumping. So it's kind of.
I would
Similar vibe.
potentially put jumping higher, but like I also still don't care.
I don't disagree. We have fencing.
Now
Now fencing.
something I care about.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Fencing to me is the summer Olympic equivalent of curling. Like
That's
it goes
that's a
kinda
good
hard.
take. That's a
It goes
good
great
take.
This is why you're on the podcast.
correct.
So S tier or A tier?
Okay, like I said, pump the brakes.
This
It's
is
electric.
Yeah,
But it's
this
not
is a
track
very.
I'm looking through what's I put in
Why
S tier
does track and field have to be the only S tier one?
It doesn't have to be the only one. I would say there's one other one for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know that I have another one in S tier.
I'm probably in the same boat.
All right, we have fencing at A tier then. Next we have
Field hockey.
Where am I? Sorry.
That's like, is that polo? No.
No.
Right.
So yeah, it's field hockey.
Again, I just can't say that I've ever watched field hockey.
And if I'm gonna watch hockey, it's definitely gonna be the Winter Olympics.
Yeah.
Correct.
D or C?
Put it in C. I don't know that I'm familiar enough with their game to put it anywhere.
Next we have soccer or football, as it's better known as in the world.
A tier.
Yeah, I mean it's up there, but it's just no World Cup, right? I mean,
Right.
100%.
there's levels to this shit.
But it's the second largest international thing you could win beside the World Cup.
Yeah.
People in Europe might say the Euros are more important, but
Yeah, it depends who you ask.
Yep.
Next,
Americans, Olympics is definitely up there.
Yep.
We have golf.
Yeah, Rob, how's Olympic golf?
I have to remember, from what I remember, the format is really fucking weird, which is why I don't want to put it that high. Golf.
I'm shocked that golf format in the Olympics is weird.
I'm trying to remember how they did it. I guess no, they just play 4 rounds. I'm just wrong.
Yeah, you're just not good at
wrong.
this. At
Defending gold medalist is Xander Schauffele.
Yeah, B tier, just like it's like general golf. Like
It's just like watching another golf tournament.
I might watch it for a certain couple athletes for a few holes or something.
Yeah. I can't find exactly. It doesn't say because it only labels it once. But this is obviously some sort of gymnastics, but I don't know which one. The middle one here is rhythmic gymnastics. So
what is the one where they're doing the split and then the one where they're like touching their toes?
vault?
Well, the one where they're touching their toes is some type of diving, isn't it?
Looks like diving.
Oh,
we already
you're
have.
probably right.
We already have diving.
Isn't there another type? Isn't there like synchronized diving?
There
or
is
something
synchronized
along those
diving,
lines?
yeah.
Oh,
There would be
that's but you wouldn't. Yeah,
Yeah, there would be 2 people, wouldn't there? Yeah.
Normal
Regardless,
gymnastics is S tier as well.
I think this is I think this is normal gymnastics. Is this first
That's
one?
true.
The next one is rhythmic.
And
gymnastics.
I absolutely become the biggest critic. I see one little wobble, I'm like minus
That's
2/10.
terrible.
Can't be doing that.
Simone Biles, get it fucking together.
When I would actually break my fucking neck attempting the
100%.
simplest
Correct.
of acrobatics.
Correct. Yeah. Rhythmic gymnastics.
I mean, if we're gonna put synchronized swimming in D, I think we have to put rhythmic gymnastics down there too. Like,
I guess it's fair. We'll skip this next one because I'm not exactly sure what it is. The next one is handball.
bro, handball, dude.
Should I become familiar with handball's game?
I am a big handball fan.
A tier?
Yeah, actually,
Right.
yeah.
Next one we have. I believe this is judo. Yeah, this is judo.
It's judo.
High B.
What are all the other ones? Judo. I'm guessing like jujitsu. Couldn't tell you what the other one is.
So what do we want to put judo? I mean, for us, obviously, because we're not familiar, I guess we would just put all the martial arts kind of in the same.
I mean, to me, it's like boxing. Like I probably watched it if it was on, but like I would not know nearly enough about it to have any earthly idea who was winning or what was going on.
Yeah. So like a C, like a high C.
Yeah.
Oh, is the next one the
decathlon
stage? Yeah, the decathlon's kind of cool.
Or it's called the pentathlon. Modern
Pentathlon.
pentathlon. Yeah,
My apologies,
is what it's called. What do we think?
Yeah, that goes at least B because I just
agree.
find that interesting.
Impressive feat
Right.
of skill across the board.
Next one is rowing. D tier. I think rowing is
That's
so boring.
Team rowing?
It's boring. I just think it's boring.
I think you're incorrect.
I think you're
We
wrong,
see
too.
New Zealand and Australia going up.
I'm not with it, man.
There's just like 100 things better, but like it's decent.
All right, C tier. We'll throw it in C. Next one we have here is rugby.
I didn't know rugby was in the Olympics.
I did not either, but rugby's cool.
Yeah,
Rugby is cool.
So
B.
at least B tier.
Another one. Yeah,
Rugby.
I would definitely tune in to watch that.
Next one we have sailing.
I mean, sailing is, I feel like, pretty equivalent to the rowing. Like
I feel like it's a little bit more exciting you give it
Okay,
credit for,
all right.
but I think C is
And
fair
D
since
tier.
we're not familiar.
Let's see. We've got next one is shooting, like skeet.
Eh.
Yeah.
I got.
I'm not really excited about. I think
like those more
archery
than
is
the
just
sailing
more
stuff.
exciting.
Yeah, I'll
Agreed.
give you that. It's another C.
Yeah.
I'm not opposed.
Excuse me.
Next we have skateboarding. Skateboarding could go a little
Yeah, I like
hard sometimes.
Yeah,
B
I'll
tier.
put it up. I'll put up a
a
B.
B. Yeah, I like BMX more than skating for sure.
Yeah.
I agree.
Next we have
Softball?
Softball.
Yes, sorry, yes, it is softball.
What is the next one?
All right, what do you think of softball first? I have the next one. I know what it is. Like what do we C tier, kind of like baseball? 'Cause it's kind of in the same area.
Whatever we put like field hockey in, like same thing. Like,
Yeah,
I'd probably
I think
watch
C
it,
tier.
but like I'm not
Yeah.
super excited. Same
The
with
next one
baseballs
is-
there too.
Next one is the newer sport climbing. That
D
one's
tier.
kind of fun, actually. That one's not bad.
D tier.
What'd you say? D tier?
Not familiar with it. D tier.
Have you never seen sport? It's actually
No,
kind of hype. I'm not
obviously,
gonna lie.
no.
I'm throwing it in C.
Sport
'cause-
sport climbing.
Yes.
That's what I'm being told.
I'm throwing it in C because it's low key kind of fun when people are
Shut
really
up.
close to each other. Let's see. This
Bro,
next
that's
one,
just climbing.
it's kind of fun.
That's just climbing with like other people involved.
Correct. Yeah. That's the
No,
general
that's
gist of
watching
it.
paint fucking dry.
Fine. We'll down to D. The next one we have here is surfing.
I feel like that could go hard. I think it's coming back for the first time in a while.
Yeah.
B tier.
Yeah, I could go for that.
Next we have is swimming.
But what's the swimming with like the little like outdoor thing?
They don't have an official label on it, so
Okay.
I'm gonna ignore that one. It
Swimming
just
is
says
also
swimming.
S tier.
Correct.
Agreed.
Correct.
Any and all relays,
Yep.
sprints, whatever it may be.
That is correct. Table tennis. Table
Where we
tennis
put
is an
badminton
A.
because it's the same as badminton.
Table tennis is an A tier.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, I
alright.
agree. No, I agree.
Kind
Table
of pressed.
tennis is
Wish
an A.
badminton was higher, but you know.
We put badminton in B tier.
Yeah.
Let's see. Next we have taekwondo. So I guess the same as the other
Yeah,
martial
but,
arts.
Just
We
not
put-
familiar.
Not familiar. Next we have oh no, that's
Tennis?
incorrect. Tennis.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I see.
sorry.
Where do
We
we
put
put
tennis in
golf?
B tier.
Yeah, wherever we put golf,
Yeah,
tennis
I think
is
we- yeah, I think
equivalent.
we put there. And then we
Triathlon?
have yes, triathlon.
Another thing that's just really impressive. Like,
Correct.
Yes, that I can't do.
But you can't. But like watching it is like, ugh. Like,
Yeah.
it's just. I'd really keep put this in D just from a pure watching experience. Like it's just like ugh, I just don't
yeah.
care.
I just don't care.
Well, it's not like that. Like obviously, it's incredibly impressive. I can never do it. Like I'm not saying anything like that, but it's just like it's long. It's just kind of very repetitive things.
Yeah.
It's kind of like. Next we have volleyball. C.
They probably, yeah.
Maybe something like a C tier.
Yeah.
All right. Also, I figured out what that diving one that it looks like diving. That's trampoline.
D tier.
Dude, what about like? But you remember doing trampoline in like Mario and Sonic at the the Summer Olympic Games? That one was kind of
I
funny. Like,
don't.
flicking there.
I do actually vaguely remember.
Yeah,
You would
Robbie
time
does
it
that
up.
song.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, we'll put it in D. And then we have water polo.
I fuck with water polo.
Water polo kind of hype.
B tier.
Yeah.
Next we have two more. We have weightlifting.
At least B tier. Just because I'm more interested in it, but like
I'm okay with
it's
that.
just me.
I'm fine with that. And then we have wrestling.
I would put it with all the other.
Yeah.
I actually disagree. I'd put it a tier higher. I feel like wrestling because that's kind of where people are able to get their stamp of like, whereas because there's no like professional, where
That's
it's
fair.
like the
That's a good
Olympics
point.
is essentially the professional league.
Yeah,
So I feel
that's a good
like
point.
you throw it a little higher. So yeah, that is it in terms of our tier list. And I'll read down the S and the A real quick. Just I won't read the rest because there's so many. So we in the S tier we have track and field, we have gymnastics, and we have swimming. Those
Yeah,
are the only
we
three that
nailed
we
that.
have in the
We nailed that.
in the A tier. We have fencing, we have basketball, we have like the BMX, essentially the tricks one. We have diving, we have soccer/football, we have handball, and we have table tennis.
Yeah,
How do we feel about that A tier?
I feel good about that. Those are the ones.
Fucks with it.
Those are the ones that I would like. If I'm like sitting there, I'm like, what do I want to watch? Like, I would go out of my way to watch everything in A tier.
Fair enough. And then obviously some of the high is like archery and badminton are the two high B tier ones. And that could have snuck in there if we really felt like it. So yeah, that is it in terms of the tier list, and that is it in terms of the things that were planned for the episode. So do you gentlemen have anything that you want to tack on to the end of this?
Think I'm all good, Ryan.
All good.
All right, well, then go ahead and sign us out, Rob.
For myself, Ryan and Connor, thank you for listening. As we get into the new year, hopefully we'll be a little more consistent. No holidays winding down, lives getting a little less hectic. So we'll try to get back on a schedule, but we appreciate you listening. Go follow, subscribe, listen, all of those things on every single platform you have. And please gamble responsibly.